Okie dokie. Yep.
Just to let you know.
Okay. Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
And Judge, I'm just going to apologize for my client. Before we even get started, he had a surgery not too long ago. I think it's been about a week ago or so. So if he's laying down, it appears that, you know, it's only because of that, Judge.
No problem.
Thank you.
And Mr. Anderson, you can probably help explain, or Ms. Lozano. Now, do we know, was the AG's office, they were sent notice of this hearing?
Yes, Judge, they were attached to the email chain. Stephanie Trong was, and she even responded to the email and stated that she would have somebody here.
Okay. And we'll still got about 5 minutes.
Judge, I'm going to step away and grab a drink real quick. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Judge, my daughter brought to my attention what I think she thought was funny. I don't know if it was a compliment to her or what, but last night at dinner, she tells me that all the girls in her sophomore class did some poll and said all the pretty girls, and I guess it's on TikTok as well, that all the pretty girls have bald dads. And I was like, I don't want to be bald. I said, you're still pretty, but I don't want to lose all my hair. So I wish I had a different designation for that.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Jones, Presley is going to be a runway model for sure, because by the looks of your haircut, where do they come up with this stuff? I don't know, Judge.
Yeah.
This we were talking about recipes for a cook-off, and we have a chef's choice entry, and everybody nowadays, I guess they go to TikTok to get all their recipes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, back in the day, we called it a cookbook. Now
Yes.
it's apparently TikTok. So.
I got a little past 1:30. I don't know if I know it's impossible to get through to the AG's office. I don't know. Do we have any number I can sure call and say we're ready to go?
Judge, I'm going to run and check my email and voicemail real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
I didn't see any email or voicemail.
Okay. And so Karina, did you send out the Zoom Evite?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have any idea, would that be in the file? Just when we get going, I just want to put something on the record, maybe when that was sent out.
I can go get it for you.
Okay.
Here's when it was set.
And Ms. Trong said, we'll have somebody available to appear whenever it says it.
Okay.
And that's when I sent it.
All right, well, why don't we go ahead and get started? Mr. Anderson, if you'll unmute, we can.
I'm sorry, Judge. It said the host had muted me, so I didn't know if you wanted me muted or not.
Okay, you can be unmuted. All right. So this is cause number 2012L5698 in the interest of Presley Ryan Jones. Mr. Anderson, if you can announce yourself and your client.
John Anderson here for the petitioner in this case, Brian Jones. And Brian Jones is also here. He's identified as Brian's iPhone.
And I'm going to just read a little of the history into the case because currently I don't see anybody who's joined from the Attorney General's office. So just for the record, we had a final order of modification that was entered on October 16th, 2020. And on page 18 of that order, near the bottom, it says, the court finds that any child support arrearage for Brian Keith Jones as of September 1st, 2020 will be determined by the Office of the Attorney General at a later hearing date. Shay Tristan Ross's child support obligation of $250 will begin on September 15th, 2020. However, that amount will be used to reduce the amount of Brian Keith Jones arrearage if there are found at that later hearing that there were any arrearages. When the arrearages reach zero, then it is ordered that Shay Tristan Ross shall make payments of child support to Brian Keith Jones. And then on January 19th of 2021, there was a request for termination of withholding that was filed by Mr. Jones. And so we're here today to find if there is any arrearage and when Shay Ross child support should begin. We have emails that included the Attorney General's office. As we were looking for possible dates, there was an email sent out requesting some dates to see who's available. On Friday, January 29th, 2020 at 2:21 p.m. There was a response from Mr. Anderson's law firm that says March 9th, 2021 at 1:30 p.m. works for Mr. Anderson. And then on the same day at 3:01, so about 35 minutes later, there was a response from the Attorney General's office, Ms. Trong, that said, we will have someone available to appear whenever the court sets this matter. Thank you, Stephanie. So we set it for today at 1:30. It's now about 1:40. And on February 1st at 10 a.m., the Zoom invite was sent out to Stephanie Trong with the AG's office, Megan Schubert, John Anderson, Shay Ross, Richard Thalstrup, and We're ready to begin. And at this time, as was announced, we have John Anderson and Mr. Jones are present. So we will begin. And Mr. Anderson, who are you going to call as a witness?
I'm going to call Brian Jones, Judge.
All right, Mr. Jones, if I can get you to raise your right hand. And do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And you'll need to unmute your phone. You're still muted.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Anderson, you may proceed.
Mr. Jones, can you tell the court back in January of 2019, I guess prior to that, you approached the AG's office about reducing your child support. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. In December 2018, I filed for a modification of child support because I had already been let go from my job for over 6 months already.
Okay, so at the end of 2018, you were unemployed. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And did you approach the AG's office to modify that order?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And so January 25th of 2019, they filed a suit for modification of support order. Is that correct? To your
That's
knowledge?
correct. Yes,
Judge,
sir.
we asked that the court take judicial notice of that suit for modification of support order and motion to confirm support arrearage filed by the AG's office on January 25th, 2019.
I'll take judicial notice of that.
Thank you, Judge. And then at a later date, September 13th of 2019, you also personally filed a petition to modify the parent-child relationship and request for disclosure. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And in that petition, you also asked that child support be adjusted and decreased, correct?
That is correct.
In all these, you asked that you would be, that retroactive confirmation would be taken care of and arrears would be taken care of, correct?
That is correct.
And if the court at a later date found out that you shouldn't have paid that much, that it would be adjusted, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And now we're here in 2021 and we're just now getting to have that hearing. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And in the meantime, there were some points that you did have a job. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And in fact, we, in November of 2020, or of, I'm sorry,
2019.
2019, we sat down with the AG's office. Is that correct?
Yes.
And we had agreed that from November till we had the hearing to modify possession and access, that your child support would be $1,000, because at that time you had just started a new job. Is that correct?
Yes, it went down to 1,100 and something. Yes.
Yeah, I believe it was $1,010 and some cents. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's correct.
And then after that, shortly after, you lost your job again. Is that correct?
That's correct, due to COVID.
And then you, in a couple months later, you regained another position. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So is it fair to say that you've had kind of a roller coaster ride as far as jobs go from 2018 till now?
Absolutely.
Now, in 2018, at the end of 2018, when you went to the AG's office and tried filing for a decrease, you were only in arrears $1,489. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And they still were trying to charge you $1,496 a month. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All the way up until that November timeframe when we got it reduced. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So for right at a year, you weren't employed, and yet they were charging you $1,500 a month because you couldn't get in front of the court to get it changed, right?
Yes.
And y'all couldn't come to an agreement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So today, are you asking this court to, also, so is your belief that you should have no arrears? Is that correct?
I shouldn't have any arrears. In fact, I think I have overpaid the courts. I have overpaid Shay Ross.
So, because you actually had, in April of last year, the IRS actually took $3,400 from you, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Which is identified right here. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Can the court see that?
Yes.
Okay. So, and the AG's office has continually taken $1,100 out of your account since October. Is that correct?
Since that November when we initially did it, they have continuously taken it out since then.
But since October, have
19.
they, since October 2020, when the judge signed the order,
Yes, correct. Yes.
they have
continue.
taken $1,100 out roughly each month. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay, so that's roughly $6,600. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So it's roughly $10,000 that you've overpaid. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and are you asking this court to order that whatever money is in the account be returned to you, and that there be a judgment against Shay Ross for the child support that she was overpaid
Yes, that's correct.
in the amount of $10,000?
Yes.
Okay, and are you asking that the court confirm that there is zero arrears that you owe?
That's correct.
Judge, I pass the witness. That's all we have.
Is there still currently a withholding order in place?
Judge, that order was signed and it's been given to the AG. So Mr. Jones told me that as of last month, I think his last paycheck is the last time that they took anything out.
Okay. All right. So anything else then, Mr. Anderson?
Nothing, Judge.
All right. Well, then I'll find that Brian Jones his arrearage is 0, and that if there is money in the child support disbursement account, and so Mr. Anderson, do you know if there is anything there, or if that money was all forwarded to Ms. Ross?
I don't, Judge. That's why we're asking for a $10,000 judgment against Ms. Ross, minus whatever is held in the AG, because she would have already gotten that money.
Okay. Well, I'm going to, order that there'll be that judgment minus whatever is in the account. And if there's any way before I sign an order, if you can find out what that is, it would be better if the judgment actually says the right amounts, that X amount is the judgment and X amount should be returned to Mr. Jones. That would be the cleanest way to do it.
And I was hoping that the AG was going to be here so that they could they could give us all that information, because it changes each month, depending on how much they pulled out. So I will definitely get with the AG.
Okay. The next AG date for Austin County is this Friday, March 12th. Judge Stavanoa has been appearing here on those days, so he may be here on Friday. Now, the AG has been doing everything virtually, so I don't expect any assistant AGs to be here, but maybe Judge Stavanoa may be able to make a call and find out those amounts.
Do y'all have the Zoom link by chance for that?
I don't. They set that themselves.
Okay, I'll try and get with them and get that link, and I'll pop in on them and see if I can't get in touch with them just by telephone.
All right, so Mr. Anderson, I'll have you prepare the judgment. How much time will you need?
Judge, do you mind giving me 2 weeks or so? That way, to the end of the month, that way I can get with the AG and have proper amount of time to do all that.
All right, so we'll just have entry on March 30th. All right, anything else?
No, thank you. That's it, sir.
Okay, thank you. You're all
Your Honor.
excused.
Brian,
Thank you.
give me a call.
Okay, will do.